Hi, I'm Andy from singlemalt.com.au. We try and taste lots of different whiskies, and we give our members an opportunity to taste them as we send them out to them every month. And this month we're going to taste the Glentauchers 1991, so I thought I might do a live tasting, and it might be useful for people to watch this and get a bit of an idea of what to expect when they get their bottle. So this month we are doing a Glentauchers 1991. It's a Speyside whiskey from near Keith in the northeastern part of Scotland, and it's a very old distillery that was opened in 1898. It was built by a chap by the name of James Buchanan, and Mr. Buchanan developed a blended whiskey called Black and White, and this was the basis of the Black and White whiskey, blended whiskey, which I presume is why the label looks the way it does now, with Black and White being prominent in the current label. The distillery is operated continuously, although it's changed hands a number of times. It was bought by what was then called UDV, or United Distillers and Vintners. They mothballed the distillery in 1985 and then sold it to Allied Distillers, who reopened it only 3 years later in 1988. So it's been operating almost continuously for 110 years with a 3-year hiatus. It currently makes a lot of single malt whiskey, but virtually all of it goes into some very famous blended whiskies, those being the Ballantine's brand and also the Teacher's Highland Cream, both of which are incredibly popular and very large brands of blended whiskey. But today we're going to try the raw product, the single malt that is the root of this whiskey. So, being from Speyside, I expect it to be quite fruity and floral, and if we look at the colour of it, you see it's quite a transparent, almost a straw or hay colour. It doesn't have the rich redness of a sherry, but so I'm presuming that this has actually been aged in bourbon barrels, although some of the tasting notes I've read do say that it's had aging in sherry. So the proof will be in the tasting. So my favourite part of every whiskey is opening the bottle. I love the tin foil, pulling that off, and then the sound the cork makes. It's just wonderful that in this day when so many things have gone to screw caps, wines, and most spirits, that single malt whiskies are still in cork, under cork. Okay. I always use a Glencairn glass. This is a genuine Scottish Highland crystal glass called a Glencairn glass, and it's perfectly shaped for nosing and tasting whiskey. It's nice and small, and it really concentrates the flavour of whiskey. So with that tulip shape, and even I can get my big schnoz in there to give the whiskey a good old sniff. So if we just pour a little drizzle in there. Okay. So I'm looking at the whiskey, and it's still like a honey, maybe a light honey type colour. And it has a beautiful honeyed flavour. It's a really, really rich and delightful whiskey. Wow. Yeah, it's yummy. Driven by honey. Beautiful oak, vanilla flavour, vanilla ice cream. Oh, that's really good. A little bit of spice, some lovely warmth and depth. Ah, but yeah, just extremely good. Now, I'd normally taste a whiskey with just a touch of water to see if it improves, but that's so delightful. It's a 1991, so it's had a lot of years in oak. What's that, 16 years in oak? So it's got, yeah, beautiful integration. Must have been aged in bourbon. I get no hint of Christmas cake or sherry coming through. And the vanilla and the honey character would suggest to me that that is maybe a refill bourbon barrel rather than sherry. I think it's a refill bourbon, and having so much time in that barrel would explain how it's drawn so much of the oaky character out of the wood and encapsulated it into the whiskey itself. Well, look, I have to do it because it's my job, but I'm going to put just a drop of water in to see how it affects the flavour. This is 43% alcohol, so it is quite a strong whiskey. It's non-chill filtered, so it's got all of the flavour in there. Yeah, we're starting to see a little bit of clouding in there from the dilution. The whiskey's just slowly unlocking with the water. You can see the patterns that the water and the whiskey make when they blend together, and it's unlocking the flavours that are generally hidden in the whiskey, and it's opening it up. So it's still very honey. Yeah, not nearly as much as it is when it's straight, but there's like a dried fruit coming through, maybe a dried apricot. Almost a pruny flavour. Yeah, it's still very strong vanilla. Oh, gee, this is an easy whiskey to drink. Well, Glentauchers 1991 is an absolute winner. This is not going to last very long in my whiskey collection of empty bottles. I am absolutely delighted with that, and I'm sure the members of the Whiskey Club are going to be over the moon when they get a bottle of this, because yeah, it's really up there as one of the best whiskies I've ever tried. Awesome. Well, until next month, we'll be doing another whiskey. I think it's Tomor next month. But until then, I'll leave you with these notes on the Glentauchers, and I really hope you enjoy it. If you do want to get a bottle and you're not part of the club, simply log on to www.singlemalt.com.au and /store, and we'll have it up there on the store, and you can purchase a bottle. I think it's going to be about $95 a bottle Australian. And I'll tell you what, $95 for a 16-year-old that tastes that good. It's unbelievable value for money. Alright, I'll catch up with you again next month. This is Andy Anderson signing off.